Hello everybody and welcome back to another building video, and today I want to talk to you about trees. Now, in this day and age, trees in Minecraft come in all different shapes, sizes, colors, whole different things that are all completely different. They're all very unique, but sometimes these just aren't organic enough, and they need to be improved. So your first thought might just to be, place down some of this, some of here, some here, what you think a tree would look like, just random things, blah blah blah, this and that. And you're like, yeah, I'm proud of this, and I'm gonna have such a good tree. And then you take a step back. Now, we can't be having this. So, now that we've got that stupid little intro out of the way, I just want to give you a simple palette of things you can use for trees. So usually I'll do the six-sided wood, some stairs that match the color of it pretty well, slab, trapdoor, and then for thinner things, fence gate, and for thicker sticks, this spruce fence. And that's good for like a oak tree, but there's also things like this. Now, this is like good for a dark oak tree, something larger, something that would take up more space in a background of your world. Now that we have, some basic palette ideas down, let's talk shaping. You might think, basic shapes for Minecraft would be best. Some stumps, some stump bits here, right? It's not terrible, but there's such a big improvement to be made here. So just simply by starting with either a 1 block, or what I like to do is start with 4 blocks, build up 1 more, add stair, slab, slab, trapdoor, or slab, slab, trapdoor, or just slab, trapdoor. Now, these are good for, roots that are visible to us, and they just add a lot of detail to a tree, and especially when you add, just some little variation here and there. Just slabs, stairs, stuff like that. Then, for, a 2-branched thing, I would usually go off in a direction like this, just kind of going with the flow, going kind of organically, just not paying attention to how perfect it looks, and you get something like that. And then you would do that on this side too to get something like this. Now, this looks pretty good, but with this 2x2 stump, I usually go 4 branches coming out, and just fixing that up a little bit, I can add the 4 branches, which usually turns out the best when building a larger tree. And looks like something like this when you're first getting started with the build. And then these little gaps here don't make much sense, so I like to add slabs in between to make the gap filled in. Sometimes I'll do a variation of slabs and trapdoors, similar to this. Just switching back and forth randomly, nothing too perfect, because it's supposed to be an organic shape. It's not supposed to be perfect. Just adding random little doodads and bibbly bobs and such like that already makes a tree look so much better. Now, adding things like stairs, trapdoors, and slabs to a build will always make it look better, but for trees, it always makes it look better. 10 times, because they're supposed to be organic, they're supposed to be smooth, they're not supposed to be very Minecrafty. And then what I like to start with for going off the side is fences in a random kind of arrangement. Not so it's very curvy, if you will. You don't want it too straight. You don't want it very perfect. You just want it, like, organic. Now, I know I'm using that word a lot in this video, but it really is necessary because, you know, building organics in Minecraft, it's pretty difficult. We're working with blocks and cubes here. We're not given very many flowy things that are used to build with. So really, we just got to use what we have and kind of just go off of that. Now, this tree already looks pretty good. I'm just going to do some touch-ups, you know, break some things, add some things, and then we'll focus on leaves in a bit. Okay, now that I did some branches there, let's focus on the gradient of our leaves. So usually you would think just, you know, either one type of leaf, but we're not going to have that. We are going to do, like, just normal oak leaves, and then we'll add some spruce leaves in there. And then at the top of the tree, or where your light source is coming from, we'll have some of that, and then some of that. So that always looks like a pretty convincing gradient. And then occasionally, on the very top of the tree, I will add a couple grass pieces on top of the moss blocks, just to give it a little more leafiness, because Minecraft leaves are very cubical without resource packs and mods. So just applying that to our tree real quick. And really what I like to do for leaves, just as a quick little reminder, I will start by surrounding the branch in like a very not organic shape, and then I will just like fill it in, add some droopy bits like this, and then like add some like outskirts here like this. Some bits will be further towards the center than others. It's really just whatever you would like, because that everywhere is gonna look very nice. Okay, now we could probably just leave it here and not do anything more with this tree, because it's already looking pretty great. I mean, like, apart from these little square bits, see there? That's looking like a pretty good tree. But we still do need to add that gradient to the leaves, and it really is quite subtle, but you know, it makes such a huge difference from afar. And you might not really expect it, but it really does help quite a bit in how your builds look. Alright, and there we go. There is the gradient for the top bit, which is already looking fantastic, and it looks much lighter on the top compared to the bottom. And now we're going to add some spruce leaves to the bottom, which will make it kind of shadowy, almost as if the sun is shining from the top. See, look at that. That looks fantastic. Let's do it for the rest. That was really a very quick touch, but it really did help just so much. I mean, like, it went from this to this, which is just like a huge improvement. And now I did mention grass, and it might not be your first, like, expectation from a tree, but just by adding a couple short grass to these pieces of moss that we added, really does change the whole tree. Not from afar, but when you're really looking up close, it's definitely there. And then especially later on in the game, when you have an elytra, flying by the tree is a whole different experience, because you can really see that texture and that top bit. It's just a great way of doing trees. Now, this is quite a short video, but that's because I'm preparing for a new series with a friend of mine. We are going to start an SMP. So, sorry for the lack of uploads recently. You know, I've just been busy. Thanks for watching. I hope this really helped, and I hope you use this in your survival world to get your trees looking like that to looking like that. Goodbye, everybody. Have a good one.